while we give Natasha space to recuperate. And Dean's with us this Shabbat and next Shabbat. And next Shabbat is Zachary's bar mitzvah, which many of us remember his baby blessing in the synagogue. So it has happened. The moment has almost come. So we're going to begin, as we always do, Shalom Aleichem, an invitation to leave this week, to leave the worry, the heaviness, the anxiety and worry, friends and family in Israel, all that's happening this week, and to just have a moment together for Shabbat. So Shalom Aleichem is on page 4 of Shabbat Resold and is on page 76 in Lev Chadash.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hashem. Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlakim HaKadosh Baruch Baruch Ni L'Shalom Malachei Hashalom Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlakim HaKadosh Baruch Zein Shalom Malachei Hashalom Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlakim HaKadosh Baruch.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Really delighted to invite Leslie to light candles tonight in anticipation of a birthday, but also just because. So let us stand. Those of you at home, if you want to stand and find your spot to light your candles, decide where you're bringing in Shabbat. And for us, we're on page 3 or page 75. Can we read this one? Sorry? Can you just read this one? Yes.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivonu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom. And whatever intention you need for Shabbat, a little bit of joy or ease or commitment or relaxation, or the angel card I did for myself when I left home this afternoon was obedience, which is quite hard for me to extrapolate anything remotely positive. But let us just make Shabbat be what we need it to be. And we are
Come up,
So we're warming up. We are having our voices sound together to sing. So nice to have Beverly sing with you, Dean, tonight. So we move to L'Chadodi, page 8 or page 91. So whichever you're using, page 8 or 91. And if you fancy standing for the last verse to really welcome any latecomers, obviously it's more human, but also just it's our final song, our final moment of welcoming Shabbat before we pull each other into prayer. So now let's call each other to prayer. The Baruch Hu, page 9 or page 92.
Et Adonai
Sit down. Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravi. So light, darkness, seasons passing, night and day, and just what it means for us to be in the world together.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amecha ahavta, ampavta. Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta. Akein Adonai Eloheinu b'shomrinu, Umeinu nasiach b'mukecha, v'nizmach b'divrei toratecha, u'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Yirei vayenu, ve'orech yameinu, Tu'va'im keyomam v'layla, keyomam v'layla. Ve'ahavata al tasur, Einu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael, Ohev amo Yisrael.
Stand, sit for the Shema, whatever feels right for you. This time next week, Zachary will be leading us in the Shema. So we see this as the watchword of faith for us Jews, the closest thing we have to a prayer that we rely on, even though it's not a prayer, but a piece of Torah. So an invitation for us all to offer that first line before Dean and Beverly lead us in song. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem kevod malchuto, le'olam va'ed. Baruch Shem kevod malchuto, le'olam va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem kevod malchuto, le'olam va'ed. Le'olam va'ed.
Vahavta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levavecha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol mo'odecha, v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anochi matzavaha hayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'leftecha v'derech, uv'shopacha uv'kumecha, ukashatam la'ot al yadecha, v'hayu latotafot beinenecha, ukatavtam al muzot beitecha, uvisharecha.
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים אלוהיכם. אני Adonai Elohechem, Asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, להיות לכם אלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
As we remember all things miraculous as we sit down, we remember praising your name, giving thanks, full of joy, singing with Moses, Miriam and Aaron the words of Mi Chamocha. Fada Adonai et Yaakov, Hugalo miad chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. And as we offer Hashkivenu tonight, that prayer for peace in your home and for going to sleep at night safe and waking up safe and having this Sukkat Shalom, this sukkah of peace, I think we can really be thinking of those, our family and friends in Israel, and everything that happened overnight last night, and the fear of reprisals, obviously, from Iran, and those who are displaced and waiting to go home. And so perhaps for Hashkivenu, we hold them very much in our hearts tonight. Adonai hapores Sukkat Shalom aleinu v'al kol yoshvei tevel. So we stand for the tefillah We think, as we do every week, we bookend, thinking particularly of the hostage families and those who gather at Hostage Square in Tel Aviv every Saturday night at the end of Shabbat, the ones who are furious, disappointed by their government, the ones who are praying for the possibility of those who may yet still be alive to come home, and those who are no longer alive to come home for a burial at home with their loved ones. So we hold the hostage families very much in our hearts as we set them as a sign and a seal on our hearts, a kavanah, a spiritual intention for us as we go into tefillah.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufni yagid tehilatecha. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufni yagid tehilatecha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Zocher chasdei avot ve'imahot, umevi gula livnei v'nehem, lema'an shemo b'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. So page 18 in Shabbat Resold Siddur, and page 98 in Siddur Lev Chadash. So, Ata Gibor Leolam Adonai Machaye Metim Ata Rav Lahoshia Mashiv HaRuach Umorid HaGeshem You, the one who releases the captive. Baruch atah Adonai, Machaye Hametim. Shata v'nora shamecha ve'en lanu Eloah mibaladecha. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Israel, et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat, v'norotam, berit olam, berit olam. Beini uvein bnei Yisrael, oti leolam. Beini uvein bnei Yisrael, oti leolam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, et hashamayim ve'et haaretz, u'bayom hashvi'i Shabbat va'ir nafash. Beini uvein bnei Yisrael, oti leolam. Beini uvein bnei Yisrael, oti leolam. V'shamru bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ברית עולם.
Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh, HaShabbat. Page 22 also can be found on page 100. Eternal God, be gracious to your people Israel, and in your love accept their prayers. May our worship now and always be acceptable in your sight. We praise you, O God, whom alone we worship in reverence. And then we're going to continue, I'm looking to see who's got, we're going to continue with the English on page 22. We thank and praise you for being our God and God of our ancestors. We can always rely on you and feel safe. We thank and praise you for caring for our lives, for connecting our souls with you, for the miracles of life wonders large and small that remind us you are here every moment of every day. We praise you, our God, and joyfully thank you for all life's goodness. And we offer now Shalom Rav, that evening prayer for peace, where we're really praying for peace for everyone. We're praying for peace for Israel, for Palestine. We're praying for gentleness in the US, and particularly the scenes in Los Angeles and families undergoing such trauma. We really pray for everywhere right now that needs that gift of peace.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim leolam Ki ata hu melech adon l'chol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim leolam Ki ata hu melech
לכל השלום, לכל השלום, שלום רב.
Baruch atah Adonai osei hashalom. So just a tiny thought reflection for us before we take a moment of silence and just taking stock of our lives, a private conversation, a prayer, whatever we need. So I feel that this week's portion speaks to lots of things, but one of the things it speaks to is the strength of rose-tinted spectacles. I'm going to close the door just for a minute. Rose-tinted spectacles and how difficult we sometimes find it to live with the truth of the past and not make things seem better than it was, as we might struggle with things in the present that we're in. And lo and behold, one of my favorite topics of conversation, it's all about food. And the Israelites are well known for whining a lot in the desert, and they really give Moses a run for his money. And Moses is considered to be the humblest of all leaders ever, ever, ever. In fact, the whole of the Torah finishes reminding us about what Moses was like. And he kind of manages their whining, but there's something about this moment that I find super interesting about how you look at the past. And so they're in the desert and they are really bored with manna, even though we're told that manna was super delicious, and basically whoever you were, it kind of the taste, it almost sounds Harry Potterish. You put it in your mouth and it was what you needed to eat. So for babies, it was breast milk. For older, ill people, it was like porridge and honey. For people who were going out to battle, it was bread. So manna sounded like quite a good gig, actually. But by now, they are fed up with manna. And one of the things they describe, they say, Nafshenu yavesha, our souls are dried up. Meaning we're just so bored, we cannot take this another day. And then what do? They start begging for meat, obviously, but then they start remembering all that they had in Egypt. And they say, we remember the fish which we ate in Egypt for free. There was so much of it. We remember the cucumbers and the melons. Nowhere else in Torah is there a list of food quite like this. The cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic. I mean, really, there is a lot of detail here. But in a way, they've forgotten the conditions with which they had all this food and that they ate it. And anyone who has ever been at one of my Seder nights, you will know that we whip each other with spring onions, which comes from the Libyan Syrian tradition that is responding to this very verse, which is, you may remember, thank goodness we don't whip each other with leeks, because I think the aunties would raise themselves quite substantially. But you may miss the leeks and the onions that you ate, but you forgot the whips with which you lived under when you ate it. And so for me, I love that tradition, and I love bringing that into our Seder, that Sephardi tradition. But I think I'm also thinking how often and easy it is to romanticize the past, to imagine that where we came from, when things were better, easier, nicer, funner, and sometimes that's not always true. And so I think in this brilliant little verse that's all about food, it's also a reminder of how we look at the past. So if that really captures you, then go with it. If it doesn't, if you're hungry, think about what cooking you're going to do tonight when you get home. Just take a moment for yourselves right now.
Adonai Tzuri, Begoali, Adonai Tzuri, Begoali, in Revi, Begon Livi, Levanecha, Adonai Tzuri, Begoali, Adonai Tzuri, Begoali, Leratzon, in Refi. Begon Lemi, Lefanecha, Adonai Tzuri, Begoali, Adonai Tzuri, Begoali.
Beautiful mixture of Dean and Beverly's melodies. So we prepared to go towards the end of our service to Aleinu on page 24, if you're using this one. And we stand and sing Dean's melody for Aleinu. You're just enthusiastic, right?
Now we're ready. Aleinu leshabeach la'adon hakol, latei te'ula liyotzei bereshit, asher sam elkeinu v'yached et shemo, v'gor aleinu lehalit malchuto, v'gor aleinu lehalit malchuto.
Beverly. So we turn now to Kaddish in our congregation. And how could we not, of course, be thinking of the awful fallout of the air accident plane yesterday coming from India. And it feels that when we close our eyes every day, there is something tumultuous and distressing behind them. So, of course, we think of all those in our wider world and community who are mourning. But this Shabbat, we also think particularly of those in our congregation who are remembering loved ones. We think of Leslie Joseph, father of Tamara Joseph. And we think of Daniel Landis, brother of Adam and son as we stand together with them and offer Kaddish together. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shamei Rabbah. Lama Mea Maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'al v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitada v'yitale v'talal Shemei dekudusha brichu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbahata v'nechemata. Da'amiram bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shamaya. V'hayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. V'imru amen. Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol b'nei Adam, v'imru, amen. May the Most High, source of perfect peace, grant peace to us, to all Israel, and to all humanity. And let us say, amen. So we close. I was just searching for a poem that I thought I brought with me, but we'll save it for next week. So I feel very conscious June as the month, Pride Month. And although we're not having a distinctive Pride service this year, we are definitely absorbing and celebrating the inclusivity of our community and the hope that everyone feels very much at home. So there'll be poetry next week. But we are going to finish now with Yivarechecha, as we hoped, a blessing for all of us, for each of us, for each other. And just a reminder for everyone, I know you're the Friday night crowd, but next Shabbat morning, we are not at TCC, we are at Southgate Progressive, and we are all moving lock, stock and barrel. So Ivriya will be there, and anyone who's coming to Shul who may or may not be coming to celebrate with Zachary for his bar mitzvah. So we are moving there. The service is, as you would expect, 11 o'clock. Everyone is super welcome. We're just moving Finchley Progressive there. We're doing the same also on July the 12th for Naya's bat mitzvah. So we're just having to do this for our 2 B'nai mitzvah in June and July. And we can't wait, Zachary, as I'm sure you can't. This prepares Nina for coping with tears next week.
Yesimcha Elohim Ke'Ephraim B'chi Menashe Yesimcha Elohim Kasara Vikara El Kalea Yivarech Adonai V'yishvarech
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Make sure you find someone that you don't know to say hello to, introduce yourself to, as we are in the midst of putting chairs away. Thank you, David. We're in the midst of putting chairs away and
Shalom, Annabelle.
Oh, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Charlotte.
Well, shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom. How are you, Annabelle?
Yeah, I'm okay. I just had another treatment, another infusion yesterday, and I'm doing well, doing very well. They're pleased with me, so it's good.
Good.
Good, that's good to hear.
Perfect.
Thank you. Thanks.